All right. So we're not supposed to be having this much fun.
Yes, we
You're so awesome. And
are.
so, listen, I'm just going to keep rolling. We're going to go with question number two. Okay. And so, question number two, how information can be denigrated because of hijack, right?
Ooh,
There,
an
yeah,
emotional hijack. All
emotional
right.
hijack. That's right.
Now, I can't do the entire hijack scenario.
Okay.
However, I
Okay.
want to share, number one, the first piece of information that is super important. We know
Right.
that out of 100% of information that goes into this ear,
Yes.
20% is retained.
Okay. That's low.
And that's 80% goes out. See, my mom was right,
Yeah.
right? I tell you things and it goes in one ear and it goes out
Out
the
the
other.
other. That's awesome.
My mom, how did you know that, Mom?
That's
She was
awesome.
scientifically correct. Yes.
Right, right.
Right.
That's right.
So just keep that in the pocket up
Right.
in your for a second. The way that our brain is hardwired,
Yep.
and we all understand hardwiring, okay,
Yes. That's right.
is that we have emotion before we have thought. We feel
Okay.
before we think.
Right.
And an emotional hijack, I mean, think about the word hijack. It's sudden, sometimes it's violent.
Right.
It wasn't expected. And sometimes it takes you someplace where you were not planning on
Right.
going.
That's right. Okay.
Okay. With
Yeah.
that, have you ever been in an argument and then like 20 minutes later you thought of all the great comebacks?
That happens to me all the time.
That is what a hijack does.
Okay.
Right. So what it does is it begins to pump chemicals into your thinking brain.
Right.
Amygdala hijacks the neocortex. So
Okay.
the emotional center of the brain hijacks the thinking brain. It pumps chemicals in, and then it begins to take the oxygen that you have in your thinking brain and the blood, and it pumps it to where it's needed to get you ready for fight, flight,
Okay.
or
Oh,
freeze.
fight to flight. Okay.
So you lose the ability to have those fantastic rebuttals because the oxygen is going to your legs if you're afraid, or your
Mhm.
arms if you're going to fight, if you're angry.
Right.
All right. We don't need to talk about this. We don't need to think about it. We'll think about it later, 20
Yeah.
minutes after the action is done.
Right.
Oh, and now imagine I'm a customer and I can't get Excel to do what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
I'm losing my, I'm losing it.
That's right.
And I'm on hold in the queue for like 20 minutes and
That's
I'm
right.
fuming, and first I was full of shame
That's right. Yes.
because I couldn't do it myself. And now I'm full of pride because I know I can do this and those go, right? So
That's
there's
right.
mixed emotions. Hang with me, right?
I
And then
got you.
all of a sudden, here comes Tony. Hello, this is Support Center. How may I help you today?
Yeah.
And I'm off and running. Right? And Tony's like, oh God, here.
That's
And you try to talk me through it. Well, Deborah, if you just click here, click there, and do this and do that, you can fix it.
right. Right.
Now, remember, when I have all the oxygen and all the blood up here,
Hmm.
I can remember 20% of what you say.
Right. Right. Okay.
Now that I've lost all of this oxygen and blood because I'm hijacked as a customer,
Right.
maybe I can retain 5% of what you're telling me.
Right.
I can't hear you.
Mm. Right.
And so now you, Tony, are getting frustrated with me. I just told you, just click here.
That's right.
I'm
That's right.
clicking all over the place and I can't follow you. Well, that's because we don't deal and we don't like to deal or manage the other person's emotions
Mm.
before we get to work.
Smart. Smart. Okay. Yeah. I can
Right?
see that.
Because in our culture, we're terrified of
Hmm.
emotions and we do not know how to
Right.
manage and handle them.
Right.
It's messy.
It is messy.
People are messy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been in those exact situations. And I remember I started with Heat in 1994. I
Oh,
was
now you're
their
just showing off.
Well, but I was their first tech support person for international.
Love that. Oh my gosh.
I was the first one. And
Yeah.
so, we built a team after that because they needed it. But the deal is I'd get on the phone exactly what we were talking about. I'd talk with a customer. And, by the time they waited to talk with me, they'd just like, going at it. And so it's hard. It's hard. You can't really control that. And we try to train and try to go slow, and we try to take one step at a time. But a lot of times it just ends up in an unhappy call. And then later we get back together. That's what I noticed. Is like, okay, that's what we're going to call day one with that customer. Day two ended up being way, way better. Right. And
Right.
so thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that because that explains a lot of the experience that I've seen. Um,
So glad.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, that is such a great topic, and I know we only have, a certain amount of time today, but what I did want to ask is, what else would you like to share about this topic? Because I think it sounds like this is something that really our audience will find this valuable just from the standpoint of thinking about our own emotional intelligence and how we go about it, and the things that can happen to us, right? Which you just shared.
Right. Right. And thank you for asking that last question.
Yeah.
We're used to, and Matt Barron from Invigate and I had a conversation around this as well. And
Right.
they're not soft skills. We thought they were soft skills, but that's what we called them because we didn't know how to measure them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hard, average speed of answer, talk time, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So that's why we call them soft. They are not soft. We can measure. We have been able to psychometrically validate your empathy and your optimism levels since like the early 2000s.
Right.
People have been too afraid to
Mm.
find out.
Yes.
And so let's call them essential skills.
Oh,
Now,
excellent.
belong to an organization that um, we do research around the world on emotional intelligence every year. And last year's emotional intelligence research report called the State of the Heart report gave us some extraordinary data that is very disturbing. And I thought I'd give you the highlight and the high points of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, what we found is naturally the global emotional intelligence scores have taken a nosedive since 2020.
Right. Oh,
Not
right.
recovered
Right.
as a world, as a planet. We have not recovered yet.
Right.
And uh, what we've seen, the top three competencies that have taken the biggest beat are optimism,
Yep.
intrinsic motivation, being able to get something done,
Right.
and leaving a legacy, caring about what I leave behind.
Oh, right.
Difference in the world.
Yeah.
Those are the three that drop the most. And what we are finding is that all of the burnout factors
Hmm.
are also way past their expiration date.
Right. Right.
Burnout is rampant. Now, then let's look at the generational differences. So the measurements that we took, the research that we did said that boomers have the highest emotional intelligence in the world. And I think that's probably because we've been through some
So, I mean,
we've been
including COVID.
alive for so long. We finally started to figure it out.
That's right. That's right.
Finally,
That's right.
this is no surprise.
That's
Not
right.
another one.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Again?
And of course, and I'm not surprised by this, but I see the reason being is that Gen Z, our youngest generation,
Yeah.
uh, at work has the lowest, and they did take a nosedive.
Mm,
very,
right.
very concerning. It was their ability to navigate emotions. So understand where are they in their emotions, being able to express them
Yeah.
and figure out how to move away from this sadness or move away from this uh, lack of empathy.
Lack of empathy. Yeah.
Intrinsic motivation. I can't get myself motivated.
Right.
And other one, funny enough, was legacy, purpose. So they are struggling with those three as a deterrent. And they also have the lowest health and balance scores. They have become the most cautious of all of the generations.
Right. Right.
They would rather do it themselves than work with other people because there is less risk.
Right. Right.
So they're folding in,
Yeah.
they're not trusting people.
Right. Right.
Females are recovering quicker than males, and males continue to decrease in their emotional
Decrease.
intelligence,
Okay.
which is very sad.
Yeah.
In the female part, the women who are taking off fastest
Yeah.
are executives,
Oh, right. Okay.
not managers, not the female, just individual contributors. It's actually the executives who are
Executive.
pulling it up, saying, this is where we're going. Let's be empathetic. Let's push through. Let's be optimistic. We can do this.
Right. Right.
Sounds like your mama, right?
That's right. That's I was about to say
Who
that.
is your female executive?
That's right.
She's my female executive too.
That's right.